There we go. And just making looks like we're going live. Okay. Hey, gang. Welcome back. Thank you for watching our lives. I just want to take this time to also give a shout out to people in my Facebook community, people who follow my posts and comment on my posts. I want to give you guys a shout out too, because it's always so encouraging. I have so many cool ideas, so many cool parents who are building their own legacy and sharing great ideas in my content. So I would want to just take this time to appreciate you guys. Hey, Karolis, welcome and thank you for this conversation. We have a fun topic today, talking about how to have fun as parents in the face of stressful times and stressful moments. Going back to school is a stressful time. But how's it going, Karolis?
Oh, it's a great day. It's a productive day. Some unexpected calls, but when you see an opportunity, you have to seize the opportunity. So I'm here right now with you and with the people who are watching us again. I would also like to seize this opportunity to express my gratitude, because that's one of the reasons why we keep doing what we're doing, with the support, with the engagement, with the encouragement that you or all who you watch support us and show to us. That is one of the reasons why we move on, and that gives us edge, that gives us an understanding what you need, what topics you need more details on, what action tips you need, what problems you face, what solutions we can offer. So I do really appreciate, with Jesse, your efforts and your engagement with our content.
Yeah, and that brings up a great point. Also, feel free to share anything that you would like us to discuss or bring out in the open in our conversations in here. We're planning on meeting, at least once a week. So anything you want to be raised up and brought to light in conversation, write that below or write us a message and tell us.
Yeah, just be very honest. If you want to raise a controversial question or you want to challenge one of our topics, just be confident with that, because that brings growth to us. Constructive criticism and constructive conversations is always valuable when it's presented with a mind to grow. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, I love respectfully disagreeing with people that I respect, and I love that, because it shows we're not just robots copying each other too.
Right? And we grow.
And we grow and we learn,
Yeah.
So let's see, we have each have a few tips and advice and suggestions on what do we do when our situations get stressful, and how can we have fun? Because really, I think that one of the best ways to show up as a parent and build a legacy is to have fun with your kids. So it's not just pressure, but also that fun can alleviate the pressure, right? So, what's your first tip?
So really, as we're talking about legacy, it's where the fun part comes in, the creation of that legacy. And during the stressful times, if it affects our family, our community, it's really important to be connected with the cause, with the mutual cause and mutual vision. And for the first tip, my share, I would say a philanthropic cause that involves your kids. So it can be visiting elder house, it can be visiting orphanage, it can be going into the park, having a run and picking some trash up. It can be, cleaning your local lake. It can be going into a meeting where, other kids from maybe, risk in risk families, they gather, to have a play and, help your children to see different worldviews, so he can share his knowledge, maybe share his joy, and really to see the world more wider.
That's so cool. You called it a philanthropic activity?
I called it philanthropic cause activity.
That's so cool. I like that. That's something that we pick up trash. And that's something like you don't have to tell them. If you just start and do something like pick up trash. I notice they do that when they, pass by some trash in the street. They'll pick it up and put it in the trash can, right? Things like that.
It's like one of the great ways to look at it is just make time for it. Like, when you say when you agree with your children that we're gonna do Saturdays, giving Saturdays, we're gonna do our Saturdays day of giving. Your children will prepare over the week to give. They will come up with ideas. They will be connected to the cause. So make it visionary. Include your kids into creating, manifesting that vision, participating in that. So they can share with you ideas. They can come up with solutions to the problem. And I think our little ones, they have great solutions for our great problems.
They'll come up with some ideas that you won't even think about.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a great idea. That's awesome. I love that.
Yes, Jesse. So what about your first step? You said it is more individual.
Yeah. So this one is actually a little more introspective. It's more, introspective. And it's essentially just be present. A lot of the time I've noticed when I'm feeling pressure and stress by a situation, it's maybe a work situation, or I've overworked and don't have enough time. I don't know if anyone can relate. Or, if you are in sales and maybe they're not coming in as much as they were, and you have that pressure, or pressure of, your car just broke down, whatever. A lot of our stresses come from worrying about potential things that could happen. And we remove ourselves from being present. And sometimes it's just a matter of if I just came back from the playground with the kids, our last week before school starts.
Yeah.
If sometimes I'll catch myself, just one more message, just one more message to somebody, or and then I kind of have to bring myself back to the moment, and just that action, when I mentally and emotionally and physically bring myself back in the moment, it alleviates a lot of pressure because I'm not thinking about the what if, so be present. And that's something that it's very simple to say. And it's one of those things, sometimes it's not so simple to do, unless you're intentional about it.
One of the greatest learnings that I received from this particular situation, you said, one more message, I have to respond, I have to message back, I have to say this, do that, and finish that post or whatsoever, is being able to not judge yourself, give yourself space to be present, because you can be present if there is judgment present. It takes all the space, all the peace, all the wisdom out from you. It's like you can have a moment with your children, but you keep putting something in front of your children. So it's either it's a business, either it's some sort of a problem. It's if you are in bed overthinking a problem. I say a simple thing. If you can't solve the problem now, why you are in bed?
And or if you can't solve it now, then why worry about it now, right? If you're at the park or something, that kind of goes into my second point too. So I'm gonna leave that there. But I really love that. Excellent. What about your second one?
So the second one is directly tied to one of the activities that I have done from early age. I was always passionate about, and it was one of the greatest teachers for me, one of the greatest mental and physical teachers for my brothers. So it's team sports with your family. So going out and creating a little competition, a little play, a little team engagement where your children can focus on action and build that mental toughness to go through challenges by implementing this simple exercise of going and being active in a team as a family, during the stressful times. It gives a bigger grab of family, It gives,
Yeah.
it allows you to grip into the support, into the feeling of being team.
Yes, yes, and united. You know, that's really cool. I just wrote an email to my email community yesterday about the value of monkey bars. I love monkey bars. They are such a great teaching tool because it teaches them, you know, the struggle and milestones when they can't even hang on, but then they start to move across like to 2 bars. That's progress. That's a milestone. They have to fall down. There's that calculated risk, that little bit of risk, but controlled risk. And then the feeling of triumph when they make it all the way across. Like, I love the monkey bars, and it's just physical release. So that's a great teaching tool. I love that. And get that physical energy out, right?
Yeah. I really, like, personally, I have seen a great result from martial arts, because it gives edge of being sharp but being understanding. And especially when there are more than one child, and when there's 2 brothers or a brother and sister, they kind of uplift each other, and they elevate each other in the process of learning new moves, in achieving new techniques, and having that victory. And even sometimes, giving space for a brother or a sister to win. They learn that teamwork. They learn that art of being present with the family. So it's really, really beautiful.
It really is. Martial arts it's part of my own family culture, like from when I was born, and I'm passing that on to them. And ever since they were crawling, I would, hold them in a way, and say, nah. And we have 3 steps. Think your way out, work your way out, fight your way out, and it's just like, no, you can't do this in the wrong order, because if you're just like flailing and trying to fight, no, you have to think your way out. There's a way to go out the back door, right? Things like that. Martial arts are so valuable. Get kids in martial arts. And the thing is, there's such a wide variety of martial arts that you can find one that works for you, from Tai Chi to Jiu-Jitsu to kickboxing to Taekwondo, right? There's such a wide variety of them.
Well, one of the first things that I decided to teach before starting to teach martial arts was meditation.
Yeah, cool.
Because it teaches them to be in the moment. So, as an example, if they doing some sort of technical sparring, and one of the sides are getting more damage, technical damage, than another side, they have a tool to not get the emotional about not hitting the goals, or not hitting that predicted strategy in the face. So one of the first things that I teach was meditation, being present and releasing the desire to do something by allowing for it to happen.
Cool. Awesome. Cool.
What's the next step, Jesse?
My next step is, again, it's introspective. My second one's a little introspective too. And it's asking myself, because I face this a lot, especially if you're triggered, if you have a trigger moment, and just think, how is this serving me? How is this serving me? How is worrying about this right now and distracting me from family time? Because going on your idea of going out and like enjoying sport, we can do that, but we can still have that stress. But how is that serving me? Right? And just asking myself that sometimes, again, with one more message, thinking, how is this serving me? It's not, and sometimes it is. And that's the beautiful thing with it. If this one last message leads to a sale or leads to whatever, and it really is the last message, how is this serving me? And if I can answer that, it decreases stress too. And if I can't answer it, I can put it away and kind of get in the moment. Does that make sense?
Yeah, indeed. And just I would like to put one part on putting things away is don't make it a habit to put your emotions or thoughts away without giving an answer. Because like Jesse said, if you can give an answer, it automatically reduces the stress. So it's same like for having an imposter or, having a doubt, is like if you can give enough reasons to demolish the doubt or demolish the fact of being imposter, then there is no more doubt, there is no more imposter. If you can give enough facts to counter argue that. So when you have that emotion of being in a problem, when the problem is not present, just give few reasons why you don't need to be in the problem now.
Yeah, amazing, awesome. How about your third? Your third.
Yeah, my third, and my third one is related to learning to be present and to set boundaries. So it's a digital retreat, digital detox retreat. So, and it doesn't mean you have to go somewhere overseas or, drive a few hundred miles just to get into some sort of an environment. You can do that in your backyard. You can do that in your local park, just making a fun rule that we're gonna do. We can play a table games, we can do the sports activity, or we can go for swimming, or we can do some crafts, creating in a tent, or under open sky. But it is purely with digital detox. So your kids, they take away, because by spending time in a technology in this digital era, it doesn't solve their problem in any way. It just suppresses the emotion by feeding them with dopamine, and it doesn't lead them anywhere. They even more, they become more vulnerable to that stress, to the stressful situations, and they will be more leaning towards escapism instead of facing the issue, facing the problem, and facing their emotions. So that's why my main suggestion in the third topic will be digital detox retreat for you and your kids during the stressful times.
Yeah, that's so great. Digital detox and about distracting. I've seen it before in some Facebook groups, around some parenting Facebook groups. Like, parents are so quick to, distract their kids, when they're having tantrums, or when they're maybe neurodivergent kids or something. I've seen this where they say, I give them the tablet to distract them. And that's the worst thing. Like, that's not huh?
From what? You distracting your kids?
Yeah, from what? Distract them from what? That's exactly it. Distract them from their breakdown, distract them from their ADHD or whatever, right? And it's not, because it's creating more stimulus in their brain, but they're not releasing it with their bodies, right? So it's just, it's not distracting. Really,
it's escapism. I call it escapism.
Escapism, exactly. Escapism, and we don't want to do that. Cool.
Yeah, that's why we want to head towards your third tip. What you have to share with us today?
Oh man, this is probably the most powerful exercise that I've used when my children have gone through tantrums, but when I've been triggered, and I've expanded it to stressful times and situations too. I call it the time machine exercise.
Okay.
And so I imagine, sometimes if we have a stressful situation in the house, and I'll escape and I'll think, and maybe I will have blown up or, gotten angry or whatever. I separate myself, and then I think of that I can enter a time machine and imagine myself as an 80-year-old man, 85-year-old man, kind of at the end of my life, and thinking back, and I have a time machine in front of me. I can go into the time machine and relive my children's youth, but I can only go back to this specific situation. How does that change the gravity of whatever situation it is? How does that change how I would react in this situation, right? If I can go back into a time machine and only go back to this specific situation. And that's really powerful because it's true on so many levels. For one, it changes our perspective and say, maybe it's not that big a deal that they, spilled whatever, they didn't do their chores or whatever you say. But also you really could be creating a time machine, because I've done a lot of inner child work. And when we do inner child work, we go back to a time in our childhood that may not have seemed like a big deal from the outside, but to our perspective, how we interpreted it, it was the world and it was life changing for us. If we can go back as a parent and strengthen a situation that we have, that could change our child's trajectory, right? That could repair some damage immediately. That could shape their future. And that's what I call the time machine. Like, imagine I'm 80, I have a time machine, I can go back and relive this moment, but I can only go back to this very moment. And that kind of puts everything into perspective for me.
And so, like, I like the name of this exercise, the time machine. It's like a very, very direct, very, very straight to the point. And I don't like do this specific, like I call it regression therapy. But I do have one rule of I call it a crucifixion. And if you crucify someone else, you do this only to your own self. And if I can look at it that whatever I want to express to my children, or even if it's a situation in life, someone else is in front of you, and however I want to respond, whatever I want to say or do onto them, I do unto myself. Do I want that? Like, would I like someone to treat me that way? And that's where it's very important that you mentioned the inner child work, because for being able to live with this rule, what I do for you, I do to myself. We need to go down that route of understanding what was done to us and why.
I love that. Yeah, I do that same thing. I think like that's helped me out a lot too. Thinking, would I like someone like talking about yelling or criticizing, or when people, are rough with their, you have to be rough with your sons and really train them up to the events. Like, think about when you were a kid, right? Like, would that have served you? And yeah, very nice, very nice. You have another one.
Yeah, I have a fourth one, and it really connects all the three above. It's just more related to teaching our children to be persistent and consistent. So it's a family business project, and
awesome.
It's really, as far as your child can have a pen or crayons and draw something on paper, you already can do this. You can teach them how to sell their art. They make art. You go outside, you make a stand or a garage sale, and you engage them in activities where they learn the resources of the communication, being social, and really doing the math. Aiming, planning.
That's so cool. That's so cool that you say that, because just earlier this week, I did that same thing with my daughter. She creates like bracelets, and I was like, you know what? You could actually like make these and figure out like a payment structure and do them for that. And she created like a little poster for them.
Yeah, that's how they get their first tries, and the earlier they start, the more intuitive they become in like really building, creating something. And it doesn't necessarily mean that your children will go into the business world. Maybe they become engineers, maybe they become innovators. That's where the entrepreneurship idea sits in. It's not just the business, it's
Yeah.
something, it's a solution, it's a contribution. It's being part of a creative environment.
Yeah, it's creation. Yeah. Yeah. I love it. That's so cool.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Awesome. Those are our ideas.
Yeah.
Take those. And also, whoever's watching, write your ideas below. Write an idea. What do you do in your family when times get stressful to make yourself, exercise those creative muscles and to have fun, right? We don't want to be stressed. We want to have fun, don't we? We want to have fun.
Yeah. It's like, there is that we could say that there is no fun in the rules, but make the rule of fun.
Yeah.
Make the rule of fun to be present in your family. And it's really effective, when the rule of doing fun is set in stone.
Yeah. Gamify it. Gamify everything.
Yeah.
Everything we can. Yeah. Cool.
Indeed,
Awesome,
indeed.
Karolis. Thank you. Awesome conversation. I look forward to doing it again. Any final words?
Yeah, so I would really like to show my appreciation to people who watched us today, and I'm looking forward to hearing what you do and how you leverage these activities, what kind of activities to go through the stressful times with your children.
Yes, I'd like to know that too. And again, if you have a topic you want us to discuss or you want us to share ideas about or bring any topic to light, let us know below or in DMs or anything. Reach out to us.
Great.
Cool. Thank you, Karolis. See you next time.
Thank you. Thank you.